All right, folks. I see some people joining, at least I think. I thought I would do a quick live today. Well, I'm going to try to be quick, but um, I'll probably take a while because I wanted to talk about the Morgandallars today. I wanted to talk about some other things because I've been watching other people's channels and it's just fun to see what other people have. So I have some other things that I wanted to show you as well. But with the silver price being the way the silver price has been, I just thought it would be kind of fun to talk about, these circulated Morgan dollars. So, hey, Sean, how's it going? It's good to have you here. Um, yeah, so the circulated Morgan dollars, they are trading, even brilliant uncirculated ones, they're trading right around the silver melt value at $65, I think is right around the silver melt. Because I think silver today is at like $84 an ounce. So this is just a great way to collect. If people want to collect this way, you don't have to spend, three, four, $500 or even into the thousands on Morgan dollars. You could purchase really nice examples like these in a lot lower grades. I will say the poor, the graded poor Morgans, really any coin, these will always trade a little higher at a premium. It's kind of frustrating because they're really not worth that, but because they get graded and because they say poor one with a straight grade, and then you add the CAC sticker on there. Unfortunately, these go for more of a premium, which is kind of frustrating if you wanted to put together a whole pour set. And guys do, and girls do. They like to do that, which is fun. I think the sweet spot, though, for me, is when you get into the good grades or the about good threes. If you want to spend, maybe $100 to $200 on a coin. Yeah, VFs. I got one right here. Um, they are really, really nice. And I will say, if you could put together a whole collection, which even some of the key dates in VF are a lot of money, a lot of money. But VFs have a lot of detail and they just look great overall. They really do. Excuse me. That's why I took this one out and I wanted to show you all because they really do have a lot of detail. But if you're looking, you're on a budget and you're trying to get as many Morgans as possible, and you don't really mind, the lower grades to get some cheaper ones, you can do that. Like for instance, where is it here? Excuse me. Of course, as soon as I start going live, here's a 78 Carson City About Good 3. I purchased this for $140. And like I said, just to remind you, melt on these is about $65. And then to get this graded by PCGS, you're looking at another, 35 to $40. So when it's all said and done. So when you think about that, to get this for $140, already graded, nice, and it's a great year. 78cc is a great year to own. Sorry, I had to take a drink of water here. That's how it goes when it's live. Excuse me. But what I like about these, again, if you're on a budget, you're shopping on a budget, you want to get some nice Morgans, they still have some decent detail, even in good. And that's the nice thing about these. They just, they still have that look. And then the cool thing is these coins actually circulated. Like these coins were, working hard in the economic system, in the West, really everywhere. It just is amazing that these coins survived the way that they did, and just really beautiful pieces of history. This one here is one of my favorites, kind of like what Sean was saying in the comments. The higher you go up, obviously you're going to get more details here. But you can clearly tell that this is a Morgan dollar, has a lot of details left in a good 6. And it just has a really nice eye appeal as well. I know people make fun of me when I say eye appeal with these lower grades, but You know, they really do. They really do have some eye appeal. Like I love when you get this kind of dark tone around all of the devices and the legends. I just think it looks really pretty. I'm using my finger here. I should be using my little toothpick. So all of this here, you know, that darkness there around it, kind of highlighting all the features. I really like that. I know not everybody likes that, but to me, I think it makes the coin look really nice. And it gives it a little bit of eye appeal. That's why I took this one out here. Because this one I bought, I'm probably going to get rid of this. I just don't like it as much as I thought I would. So this is an AG3, and let's compare it here to another AG3. And I think I've said this before in other videos, but I'll just say it again. Like when you look at this coin, it just doesn't have the same eye appeal as, say, this coin. Both of them have the same grade. Both of them, you know, have a ton of history. This is a 92 Carson City. This is a 1901S. Both of these cost me under $200 each, you know, again. So if you're looking for something, actually, I think this one was only like 150 bucks. And I think this one was 165. I think that's what I paid for it. And again, that might sound expensive, but if you put both of these coins in mint state, you're talking about thousands of dollars, you know? And that's why I say, if you're looking for buying some Morgans on a budget, you know, there's nothing wrong with these lower grades. Like I said, though, you know, with these pours, they do have the little bit of a premium. And then like what Sean was putting in the comments, you know, when you get to these VFs, really fine up, XF even, you can get some really beautiful looking extra fine, or extremely fine, I should say, Morgans. It's not for everybody, but like, look at this. This is just, I don't know, this is just a beautiful example. It's one of the reasons why I bought this coin. I just thought it was really nice. I know on her cheek here, there is a large mark right there, but you know, I don't really mind that much with the overall eye appeal of this coin and the detail that's on here. Just really beautiful, beautiful detail. Yeah. And then I just love the reverse. The eagle, really strong eagle. Again, I know it's not for everybody, but a nice looking mint mark there too. So, yeah. Just a lot of beautiful detail on this. And then, of course, I did grab some for just a quick look. I did grab some of the AU coins I have because I wanted to just stick to circulated coins. Now, this is, it's not a, most people call this a better date because it is a little bit more pricey. If I remember correctly, I got this for, it was either like $387 or $390 or something like that at auction with the CAC. It might even have been more than that. I can't really remember. I should keep better track of it, but I don't. But this is just a really nice example of an AU Morgan. You can see a lot of luster left on here, but it's obvious that this is about uncirculated coin. What's really fascinating too about the 86 New Orleans is really cool. When you read Bowers or Miller, they tell stories about how, especially the 1886 went out into the world. They were minted at the New Orleans Mint, went out into the world around New Orleans, and then eventually, for some reason, they were all kind of pulled back into banks in the mint. So a lot of these circulated and then came back and were stored, and that's why they are about uncirculated, which is cool. I don't know if that's the case with this specific coin, but you will find a lot of these in AU, or as a lot of people call them, just sliders, the AU 58s, that they really almost could pass for uncirculated, but there's just a little bit of wear and tear on them. So really nice. This is a really nice example. I'm glad I purchased this. And then I do want to show you a couple more AUs. You've seen them if you've watched my channel for a while. This is a nice AU 1884 San Francisco. A obviously, if you know these coins, they do have huge price jumps as you go up the grading scale. This one, I think I paid right around 400 and some dollars for it, which was a nice grade. You obviously can get a lower grade like this VF, which I think is just as nice. If you look at, the details, you can find yourself a really nice one of these for a lot cheaper than what I paid for the AU coin. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're shopping on a budget and you're just wanting to add a semi-key date or, a better date, you can do that without spending a ton of money. I kind of, I don't know, I guess I'm making this video because I've just seen a lot of videos where everything has to be mint state, everything has to be perfect. And that to me is just not collecting. You can buy a nice coin and appreciate this. Like this is an 1884S. It's just really, really beautiful. And a coin like this, I really think it jumps. If I'm trying, I should have looked it up before I started this. I think in an AU, it's over 1,000, or AU 58, it's over $1,000. I think it's a lot more than actually, but anyway, I didn't want to say the wrong thing, but see if we can put that there. And I have another one. This is an AU 55 on an 1883 San Francisco. Again, a really beautiful semi-key date for the series. I thought it looked really great. Had a decent strike here. Let me just get my toothpick again. Had a decent strike, which with these, sometimes they can have a weak strike, and you might be saying, well, does the strike really matter? It's in about uncirculated. But if this wasn't about uncirculated, I really think we would have had a lot more hair here because it's just so nice. Let me grab my loop here. We'll take a closer look here. Because obviously, if you're looking at a 79S, 80S, 81S, 82S, they all have beautiful strike. Well, I shouldn't say all, but the majority of them have beautiful strikes. And that's why it's just a great coin. Let's see here on the reverse. Just really nice. Really, really nice. Yeah, so I figured if you guys want to put anything in the comments or ask me a question, go for it. So I wanted to talk circulated Morgans today a little bit, just about collecting and how, you don't have to buy the perfect coin. You can buy a lot of lower grades. They're nice to add to your collection. It's kind of, I don't know, it's about your collection. It's about collecting. It's not about having the perfect specimen. If you want to buy a perfect specimen, there's nothing wrong with that either. But, if you're going to be buying a ton, if you really are trying to put together a set, it's going to take years. And again, there's nothing wrong with that either. It's whatever you want to do. But I just find there seems to be a lot on YouTube right now that's all about having the perfect coin. Another thing that's on YouTube, and I wanted to show this because I purchased a couple of these from my buddy Dan. I've got a couple of these notes from him, and I just have to, give him a plug. I really like them. He is selling these on eBay. He just printed on them a little, happy birthday to the United States, which is kind of fun. So I bought this $2 from him, and then I made him sign the back for me from Polar Currency. So that was fun. And then I even got the $1 as well, just to kind of put up in my office, have a little fun with it. Nothing special, but at the same time, the BEP is not putting out anything. So I thought, hey, why not? This is a great way to celebrate 250 years of the United States. So I thought that was kind of fun. So I wanted to share that with you. And of course, Dan, if you don't know who Dan is, Dan from Polar Currency, really great, a lot of fun. And I'm glad he did this to kind of celebrate, that we are a great country. I wish we were doing a little bit better, but that's okay. We'll get through it. The United States has gotten through tougher times. But yeah, if you go to his eBay or his channel, he has some stuff on where you can get these if you want one. I just think it's fun. The other thing I wanted to show you all is obviously, yes, I love collecting Morgans. It's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun for me over the years, but I also collect other things, and I wanted to show you some of the things that I enjoy. and it was really retired Navy Rob, and Ontario 100, and Big Apple, and the rest who have been really inspiring me. But definitely retired Navy Rob and Ontario, because they've been showing a lot of currency. So I wanted to just show some currency. This is not expensive stuff. This is stuff that you can get real cheap. And you might be like, oh, well, why are you interested in this note? Well, I love tall ships. So when I see a tall ship on a note, I just think it's so cool. So this is a German note. I can't remember what year this was from, but when I saw this note, I just had to pick it up. Like, just look at the beauty of this ship. Just really beautiful. Uh, I just don't think you could get anything better than that. It's just so cool. So that's one of the things, obviously I love to collect my Morgans, but it's just another thing I like to collect. These are two Australian notes, and what's kind of cool is you can see here behind here we have this beautiful tall ship kind of on the dock, and then we have these two security features of tall ships. And I'll take out the note. There's actually two different notes here. So you can see here, yeah, I don't know if I can, no, I can't, I don't think I can get the watermark, but anyway, so these are just really fun. When I saw the tall ships on there, I said to myself, oh, I gotta get that. That's fun. Because it's just, one of those things. I don't know. Do you guys collect anything like that? Or are you guys strictly a coins, strictly currency? I like to have a little different things to collect. Here's another Australian note. This is a really beautiful note, really inexpensive. But again, on the reverse here, or the back of this note here, you can see this really nice tall ship. Just really cool. And I don't know, sometimes I just like to appreciate other countries' notes. And I know Retired Navy Rob's been putting out a lot of content lately, with this kind of stuff from around the world and obsoletes, and it's just so cool. So, and I just love the details. I love getting up close to these and just looking at all the details. Look at all the micro print. Guy there on the ship. Let's see if I can do this. Let me try again. Yeah, look at this. Well, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you all for being here. I know this isn't for everybody, and I know I just kind of hopped up today live, but it's just kind of fun. Yeah, look at the detail on this note. It's just so cool. Just so cool. Yep. And I like looking at all the people on here too. If I can get up here close. Australia is a rich country with rich history, I should say. Before the European came and everything after. Just really nice. Hopefully someday I'll get there. But anyway, yeah. Great note. And then for American notes, I love obsoletes, and I like to buy them raw because you can get them fairly cheap. And here's a nice one. Ontario just showed this last night. Obviously, his is much nicer than mine, but I love this vignette. It's just such a nice vignette. And what's really cool is the artistry here on this note. If I can get close here, like, look at the water reflection. That is amazing that they were able to do this. I can really appreciate the artistry here. And this note here is really inexpensive. If I remember correctly, I purchased this on eBay for like $15.99 or something like that. Obviously it's got some holes, it's got some other issues, but again, it's, the vignette here looks really nice. The note's a little dirty, but again, I don't really care about that. It's just more the ships on it that I really enjoy. Here's another note. This one was a little bit more pricier, but I really liked it because of two reasons. One, not just the tall ships and the sailing boats here, but also it has Daniel Webster on it, which I'm from New Hampshire, and today in New Hampshire, it's pretty dreary outside. So that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to go live today, kind of have some fun here in the afternoon. But these ships are just really fantastic, and I love the little tugboat along. At least I'm assuming that's a tugboat, kind of guiding the piloting the ship out there. But it's pretty fun. So this is a great note. This is from Maryland. Really beautiful. I like the green on these. And I love that these vignettes get used on so many different notes. So many different notes. Yeah, and I should have flipped this one over. Yeah, there's nothing on this one, and there's nothing on the back of that as well. So, and then, yeah, it's fun to have a community out there because you get to do some trading. And this note here, I guess I should pull this out of the plastic here. This note here, I traded with my buddy Dan over at Polar Currency. He had a couple different notes. He knows I really love Washington, so I thought that was cool that Washington's on here. And again, he knows I love tall ships. And so here we go with this vignette with a little sailing boat there and some more tall ships, which is just really cool. And again, this note is from Virginia. This is just a great looking obsolete with a nice grade as well. Again, not that expensive. And most of these don't have reverses, but this one does. And I really like the color. I know it's hard to see. I'm going to see if I can get this to kind of focus here. So you can see the focus, or so you can see the focus. So you can see the detail and the color on the back of this note. Yeah, I'm just wondering, do any of you collect currency or obsoletes at all? I know it's not for everybody. I don't go crazy with it, but I do enjoy collecting the tall ships on notes. And like I said, it's an inexpensive hobby in a lot of ways. What's not inexpensive, and I'm glad there's 8 of you on here. This is not sailing ships. This is not obsoletes. This is a really, really beautiful $10 legal tender 1901. And I wanted to share this because I haven't shared it yet on the channel. I purchased this a few months back, but I've been looking for a bison for a long, long time. And I'm glad that I purchased this. I got this off of Great Collections for a good price. And I thought, yes, it's only a 15, but I thought the bison looked really, really nice on this note. There's just one thin line going across them there that's visible, but otherwise I thought it was great. And I thought the portraits weren't too bad of Lewis and Clark here either. But to me, if you're going to buy a bison, it really is all about the center of this note here. And I just thought it was a really phenomenal note. And the color, as you can see on this note, is really nice as well. This cost me just under $1,000. The reverse here, or the back of the note, is pretty dirty. But again, like I said, I bought this note because it had such a nice bison on it and it had a good price and it has a decent grade. So that was the other reason why I wanted to buy this. And I know that's kind of a weird conversation to go from, hey, buy cheap Morgans to buy expensive notes. I don't know. That's not that expensive because, again, if this was a higher grade, it would have been a lot more money. But so just kind of talking about, you can get really nice things in lower grades for good prices. And in this case, I did. I didn't have to spend, $2,000 or $3,000 to get a perfect looking bison. But I thought this one just looked really, really nice. Look at him staring at us there. Look at all that detail. So I don't necessarily see any ink breaks here in that line, maybe a little bit, but again, it just looks great. I'm really happy with this purchase here. And what a great history, talking about the amount of hands that this note has gone through, talking about, even these notes, how many people have used this note, and where has it been, where has it gone through commerce, all these notes. And it's a really amazing too with these with the obsoletes, because the obsoletes are so thin. The paper is so thin. It's so thin. Hey, Convict Currency, thank you for joining me. Yeah, it really looks good for the grade of 15. I was really happy. I will say I really like that Great Collections takes really, really wonderful pictures. So it is a great place to buy currency or coins. If you're on there, they do a great job. And they ship fast. They ship really fast, actually. And it's been a good experience for me when I've when I've bought stuff from them, and this was definitely one. Yeah, the seal really is the colors, the seal, just everything. Like I that was the other impressive piece, and it doesn't seem like it's a wash note, like it doesn't seem like somebody washed this or anything. It just, you got a little dirt here, you got a little, to me it's history. It's the feeling of the overall history of this note. And again, it's similar to, I wanted to get back here to, similar to something like this, like a nice AU Morgan. Like it just, they've been out there, they've been circulating, they've been moving around, they've been being used, which is just awesome. You just get that sense of that this is something that worked really hard, and you can only imagine how many hands what was going on here. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. This was our money. That's right. If you lived 100 years ago, you'd still be spending these, and you'd still be spending these. You really could be. Especially with the Morgan, they were releasing. The 1921 was released, and the peace dollars. So you just imagine you had peace dollars, Morgan dollars. You had legal tender. You had so many other notes, silver certificates, gold certificates, everything just on out there. And yeah, this was definitely our money. So a lot of history here, a lot of history here, a lot of fun. And I just wanted to share with you guys today, while I was hanging out at home in this kind of dreary day here in New Hampshire. And I just thought, hey, why not? Let's go up live. Let's talk a little bit about, just the silver price craziness, about collecting in lower grades, getting good deals on notes, and then just collecting in general, like the tall ships, like I was saying before. You don't have to be buying super collectible things. It might just be something that your eye is drawn to. So it's fun. Well, folks, I think I'm going to leave it there. I wanted to keep it short today, but I want to thank Sean and Convict Currency for putting stuff in the comments. And I wanted to thank the rest of you for joining me. I hope you like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope that you all have a great day. I've got the daddy-daughter dance tonight, so I'll be taking my girls to a dance tonight, which is always fun. So until we meet again, folks, stay safe and continue to enjoy.